The great hall was silent. All eyes were on the two alien girls standing in the center. Zara and Lyra, both tall, graceful, and beautiful, with smooth silver skin, glowing blue eyes, and markings on their heads that showed their royal blood. But today, there was no pride in their posture. Their hands were bound with energy cuffs. Guards stood behind them, watching closely. A large figure stepped forward, the high commander of their homeworld, Draction Prime. His voice was cold, sharp. Like a blade, you broke the code. You disobeyed a direct order during battle. You refused to destroy innocent life. Zara spoke first. They were children. We are not monsters. The crowd gasped. Lyra nodded. We chose mercy. Is that a crime now? The High Commander slammed his staff to the ground. Mercy is weakness. You are warriors. And for your weakness you are banished. The room erupted in whispers. Banished? Where? To where? The commander raised a hand. The whispers died. You will be sent to a planet far from here, primitive, dirty, filled with humans. Everyone went quiet. Humans to the aliens of Draction Prime. Humans were weak, emotional, and strange. Sending someone to Earth was worse than prison. It was shame. You will live among them, the commander said. You will feel what it's like to be useless. No power, no honor, no return. Zara and Lyra looked at each other. Their hearts were heavy, but their eyes held no fear. We accept, Zara said calmly. The guards dragged them away. Their ship left that night. It was small, old, and slow, nothing like the powerful warships they were trained to fly. They sat in silence, looking out at the stars. Do you think humans are really so bad? Lyra asked quietly. Zara sighed. I don't know. But I do know one thing. What? We are not going to die in shame, no matter where we are. The ship entered Earth's orbit after 3 days, but something went wrong. The engine started to burn, lights flickered. Warning signals flashed. System failure, the voice said. Crash landing required. Zara grabbed the controls. Hold on. The ship tore through the sky like a fireball. It crashed deep in a forest, throwing dirt and flames into the air. Inside, Zara groaned. Her arm was cut. Lyra was unconscious. Sparks flew from the walls, but they were alive. Miles away, a human man named Jake stood on his porch. He saw the fire streak across the sky. What the hell? He grabbed his jacket, his flashlight, and ran into the woods. Back at the crash site, Zara pulled Lyra from the wreckage. They were weak, covered in dirt, but still proud. Still alive. Zara scanned the area. This place, it smells like trees, wet air, life, Lyra groaned. Are we on Earth? Yes, they didn't have time to rest. Someone was coming. Fast. Zara aimed her weapon toward the trees. Branches cracked. Jake stepped into the clearing, holding up a flashlight. His eyes widened as he saw the burning ship, and the two alien girls standing there, one of them pointing a strange device at him. He froze. Zara stared at him. This was a human, a real one. He looked afraid, but also curious and calm. He slowly raised his hands. I'm not here to hurt you. Zara's hand didn't move. Her fingers stayed on the trigger. Jake took a step closer. You crashed. You're hurt. Let me help. Lyra coughed behind Zara. Zara. I don't think he's dangerous. Zara's hand trembled. Why? Why couldn't she shoot? The human was right in front of her, weak, open, but something in his eyes, something was different. Not fear, not hate. Only kindness. Zara slowly lowered her weapon. Jake stepped closer. Can you walk? Zara looked at Lyra, then nodded. Yes, but not far. Jake held out his hand. My house is nearby. I have food, water, shelter. Zara hesitated, then took his hand, and that was the moment everything changed. They came to Earth as punishment, but Earth would soon become more than A prison. It would become a test. A second chance. And maybe something even more powerful, a place where love could grow. The forest was silent again, except for the crackling of fire. Jake stood in front of two alien girls, one unconscious, the other staring at him with sharp, glowing eyes. Her weapon was down now, but her body was still tense, like a wild animal ready to fight. He had never seen anything like her before. She wasn't human, but she wasn't a monster either. Her face was beautiful, but fierce. Her skin shimmered like metal, her suit glowing softly in the dark. Jake spoke gently. "You need help, both of you." The taller girl didn't answer. She glanced back at the other one, still breathing, but weak. Finally, she said one word. "Help." Jake led them through the forest. Zara half-carried Lyra, and Jake supported them both when they stumbled. They didn't talk much. Jake was full of questions, but he kept them inside. Who were they? Where did they come from? Why had they crashed here? But one thing was clear: they didn't come to attack. They were hurt and scared, and something about that made him want to protect them. They reached his small cabin at the edge of the forest. It wasn't much. Just wood, a little porch, and a single warm light glowing through the window. Jake opened the door. "Come in. It's safe here." Zara stepped inside carefully, holding Lyra in her arms. She looked around like a soldier entering enemy territory. The warmth of the cabin hit them first. Then the smell: wood, coffee, and something cooking. Jake rushed to the couch. "Here, lay her down." Zara gently placed Lyra on the soft cushions. Lyra groaned, her eyes fluttering open. "You're safe now," Jake said. "You're with me." He brought water, a blanket, and a first aid kit. As he knelt beside Lyra, Zara watched his every move. "You're not afraid of us?" she asked. Jake looked up. "You don't seem like someone I should fear." Zara blinked. "Why?" Jake smiled a little. "Because you could have killed me." "But you didn't." Zara didn't smile back. She just stared at him, like she couldn't figure him out. In her world, kindness like this didn't exist. That night, the girls rested while Jake sat by the fireplace, thinking. He didn't know what he had just brought into his life. Two alien girls. One barely awake, the other watching him like a hawk. But he also knew he couldn't turn them away. The next morning, Lyra sat up slowly. "Where are we?" Zara stood by the window. "Still on Earth, but this place is peaceful." Jake entered with 2 bowls of soup. "You're lucky. That crash could have killed you both." Lyra looked at the food, confused. "What is this?" Jake chuckled. "Soup. It's warm. You'll like it." She sniffed it, then slowly took a sip. Her eyes widened. "It's good." Zara watched her, then tasted hers too. Her cold face didn't change, but she didn't stop eating. For the first time in their lives, Zara and Lyra felt something strange. They weren't being ordered. They weren't being judged. They were safe, and it felt wrong. Like they didn't deserve it, but Jake treated them like guests. Like friends, he gave them clothes to wear. Let them sleep in his bed while he took the floor. He even asked for their names, something no one had done in years. "Why are you helping us?" Zara asked him one night. Jake shrugged. "Because you needed help. No one helps for nothing," she said. Jake looked at her. "Maybe not where you come from, but here, sometimes people just do the right thing." Zara said nothing, but inside her chest, something stirred. Something warm. Days passed. Lyra smiled more. She helped Jake chop firewood. She laughed when he slipped in the mud. She asked him questions about Earth, and listened like every answer was a treasure. Zara stayed quiet, watching, feeling things she didn't understand. Jake didn't treat her like a warrior or a criminal. He just treated her like a person. One night, while the stars burned above, Zara stood outside alone. Jake joined her, holding 2 cups of tea. "You miss your world?" he asked. She nodded. Yes, but not the way it treated us. Jake looked at her. Then maybe this can be your new start. Zara turned toward him. For once, her eyes weren't cold. Maybe, but far above Earth. Something was watching. A silent ship, hidden in the dark sky, tracked their signal. A voice crackled in alien. Code. Target located. Prepare extraction. The peace on Earth would not last forever. But for now, the human had done something powerful. He had opened his home, and maybe he had opened their hearts. The first thing Lyra learned about Earth was the sound of birds. She woke up to soft chirping outside the window. Light poured in through thin curtains. The bed was warm. The room smelled like wood and something sweet. Pancakes. She sat up, slowly, blinking at the cozy cabin around her. This place wasn't cold like home. It wasn't metal. It was soft, quiet, kind. And so strange. In the kitchen, Jake flipped pancakes while humming a song. Zara stood nearby, arms crossed, watching his every move like he might be hiding a weapon in the frying pan. Jake glanced at her and smiled. You ever tried these before? Zara shook her head. Jake pointed to the sizzling batter. There. Called pancakes. Humans eat them for breakfast. Zara narrowed her eyes. Your kind eat flat circles? Jake laughed. Pretty much, yeah. Lyra stepped in, rubbing her eyes. What's that smell? Jake held up a plate. You're first. Earth meal. She took a bite and her face lit up. This is amazing. Zara took hers and ate in silence. But even she couldn't hide the slight nod of approval. That morning, the girls began to explore Jake's world. Lyra asked dozens of questions. What's that box? A toaster. Why does it spit fire? It's just heat. Why? Would you trap fire in a box? Jake laughed so hard, he nearly dropped his coffee. Zara, on the other hand, was different. She said little. But she noticed everything. The way Jake offered her a towel after a shower without looking at her. The way he fixed a broken chair without being asked. The way he never once asked where they were from. He didn't push. He didn't pry. And that, more than anything, made her curious. Lyra loved Earth almost immediately. She tried on human clothes. She danced barefoot in the backyard. She followed a butterfly and screamed when it landed on her hand. Jake watched her with a smile. You've got a wild spirit, he said. Lyra tilted her head. Is that good? Jake nodded. That's very good. That night, by the fire, Jake brought out a small wooden box. Inside were photos. My family, he explained. My dad was a pilot. Mom ran a bookstore. Lyra leaned in. There. Smiling. Yeah, we were happy before the war. He didn't say more, but Zara saw the sadness in his eyes, just like the sadness she and Lyra had carried for so long. Later, Jake asked the question he'd been holding back since the crash. Why were you sent here? Zara looked at Lyra. Lyra nodded. Tell him. Zara took a deep breath. We refused to follow orders. Our commanders wanted us to destroy a colony innocents, children. Jake's eyes widened. So we said no, Lyra continued. And that made us traitors. Jake looked at them both, quiet for a long moment. Then he said softly, You did the right thing. Zara frowned. That's not how our world sees it. Jake met her gaze. Then your world was wrong. That night, Zara couldn't sleep. She walked outside and looked up at the stars. She had always believed strength came from control, from fear, from being the strongest in the room. But this human, this simple man in a wooden house, had shown her something else. Kindness, patience, understanding. And somehow, it was stronger than any weapon she had ever held. The next morning, Jake found something strange in his shed. A piece of alien tech repaired. Zara stood beside it. I fixed your tool. It had power leaks. Jake blinked. You fixed my welding done? Zara shrugged. It was broken. I made it better. Jake stared at her for a second. then smiled. Thank you. She looked down. You helped us. Now I help you. That's how this works, right? Jake nodded. That's exactly how it works. But far above Earth, in orbit, a ship remained hidden. A single red dot blinked on a screen. Target, alive, location, Earth. Status, watching. Zara and Lyra were starting to heal. To smile, to belong. But something was coming. Something that wouldn't care about pancakes. Or kindness. Something that would test everything they had found on this strange, beautiful planet. It started with a sound that didn't belong to Earth. A low hum. Too deep. Too smooth. Zara heard it first. She was outside, splitting firewood behind the cabin. When the sky whispered danger, she froze. Birds flew from the trees in panic. Then came a flash, silent, sharp and silver, far above the clouds. Zara dropped the axe. They found us. Inside the cabin, Jake was showing Lyra how to make tea. She smiled as steam rose from the kettle. It smells like flowers. Before Jake could answer, Zara stormed in, her voice cold and sharp. Get away from the windows, now. Lyra's face changed. No, Jake stood up. What's happening? Zara didn't explain. She didn't need to. Outside, something descended from the sky, quiet but powerful. It wasn't like the girls' escape pod. This was a warship. Black, fast, deadly. It hovered above the forest, then vanished behind the trees. Zara reached for the alien weapon she had hidden in Jake's shed. She handed a smaller one to Lyra. They sent hunters. Jake stepped in front of them. Who sent what? Talk to me. Zara looked at him, serious and sad. Our own people. In the distance, armor-clad figures moved through the trees. They were tall like Zara and Lyra, but their eyes were dark behind their helmets. Their weapons glowed. They moved in silence. No talking, no warning. Just tracking. Jake peeked through the blinds. Those are your people? They're not here to talk, Zara said. They're here to drag us back, or destroy us. Jake clenched his fists. Not while I'm breathing. Zara stared at him, a human. No armor, no power. No reason to fight, yet he stood like a shield. Why do you care? She asked. Jake looked her straight in the eyes. Because I've seen what monsters look like. You're not them. Lyra trembled. She gripped her weapon, but her hands were shaking. Zara put a hand on her shoulder. Stay calm. We'll protect this place. We'll protect him. Outside, footsteps crunched on dead leaves. Closer. Jake moved to the door and grabbed the metal pipe. I don't have alien tech, but I've got courage. Zara couldn't stop the tiny smile that flickered across her lips. Then stay behind me. The soldiers reached the edge of the cabin clearing. Their leader raised his weapon. Zara stepped out into the open. Unafraid. This is your last warning, the soldier barked. Surrender now. Zara's voice was cold. We will not return. You were given a second chance. You wasted it. Zara pointed her weapon. No, we found something better. The soldier raised his hand. Take them. The first shot came fast. Jake ducked. Zara rolled to the side and fired back. Her blast hit one soldier square in the chest. He fell with a burst of light. Lyra ran out, firing wild, protecting Jake from behind. The clearing became chaos. Jake pulled Lyra behind a tree. You okay? She nodded, breathless. I'm not afraid anymore. Zara took down another attacker. Her heart was racing, but not with fear. With purpose. She was no longer running. She was defending something worth saving. In the middle of the fight, one soldier got close, too close. His weapon aimed at Jake, but before he could fire, boom. Lyra blasted him with pure energy. She stood there, glowing, eyes wide. Jake looked at her. You did it. Lyra blinked. I didn't know I could. Zara's voice came from behind. Now you do. The soldiers pulled back. Their commander growled through his helmet. This isn't over. Then they vanished in a blink of light, retreating for now. Silence fell. Smoke drifted through the trees. Jake sat on the ground. Heart pounding. Zara looked at him. You stood your ground, she said. Jake wiped sweat from his brow. So did you. That night, the three of them sat together by the fire. No one said much, but something had changed. They weren't just guests or strangers anymore. They were allies, a team, maybe even family. But in space, the commander reported back. They resisted. A cold voice replied, next time, bring the full force. The Earth had welcomed them, but now it would have to protect them, and maybe, just maybe, the aliens would discover that humans were more dangerous than they looked. It was just past midnight when the wind changed. The air grew cold. Too cold. Jake woke with a sharp breath. Something felt wrong. He stepped outside. Barefoot, the dirt cool under his feet. The stars were gone, covered by something dark and wide. Above the trees, not clouds. A ship. Zara was already outside, weapon in hand, eyes scanning the sky. They're back, she whispered. Jake's heart pounded. More of them, Zara nodded. Stronger. They won't just threaten this time. Lyra appeared behind them, already dressed in her suit. She looked at Jake. They're not just here for us now. They're here for you too. Jake didn't flinch. He stepped forward. Then I guess I fight too. Zara turned toward him. You're human. You don't have our speed, our strength. Jake's voice was steady. But I have something else. What? He looked her straight in the eyes. I have a reason to fight. The ship above them opened. A beam of light shot down into the forest, carving a path through the trees. Leaves burst into flames. Earth shook. Out of the light, soldiers stepped forward more than before. Bigger, better armed. They didn't come to talk. They came to destroy. Jake grabbed his old hunting gear. A vest, a knife, a long rusted shotgun that hadn't fired in years. He checked the bullets. Only 3. Zara touched his arm. You're brave, but you'll die with that thing, Jake smiled. Then I'll die standing. The soldiers marched closer, boots thudding. The lead warrior stepped forward. Surrender or burn, Zara shouted back. You'll have to go through us first. But the soldier pointed at Jake. No, we'll go through him. Jake stepped between the aliens and the girls. No armor, no energy weapon. Just a man in boots. Facing giants. He raised his shotgun and fired. Boom. The blast hit the first soldier hard enough to throw him back. The aliens roared in surprise. Zara's eyes widened. He actually hurt one of them. Then the rest charged. Jake didn't run. He stood his ground, firing again. One shot left. Zara and Lyra leaped into action. Blasts of blue light flew from their weapons. Trees shook. The ground cracked. But the soldiers kept coming. One of them reached Jake. The alien raised his arm to strike, and Jake stabbed his knife into the soft joint beneath the armor. The alien screamed and fell. Jake pulled back, breathing hard. I'm not letting you take them, he growled. Zara saw everything. This human, with no training, no armor, no fear. He was fighting like one of them. No, better than them. He was fighting with heart. Lyra screamed as 2 aliens grabbed her. She kicked, blasting one in the chest, but the second one aimed at her head. Jake dove in from the side, knocking the alien to the ground. He didn't think. He just moved. Protected. Fought. Finally, after minutes of chaos, Zara blasted the last soldier back into the ship's beam. The ship screeched, retreating into the sky. Badly damaged. Silence returned. Smoke filled the air. Jake dropped to his knees, bleeding from a cut on his arm, but he was alive. They all were. Zara knelt beside him. You're hurt. I'm fine. You're a fool, she whispered. You could have died. Jake looked up at her with a tired smile. So could you. Zara didn't smile, but she pressed her hand to his chest, feeling the beat of his heart. Your courage, she said softly. It's not human. It's something more. Later, as the three of them sat by the fire again, Lyra spoke quietly. Why would he fight like that? For us, Zara answered without looking away from the flames. Because he saw something in us worth protecting. And maybe we're starting to see it too. But the danger wasn't over. Far away, in deep space, a council of leaders watched the battle replay. A human had stood against trained warriors. A human had one voice broke the silence. This species may be more dangerous than we thought. Zara stood on the rooftop under the night sky, looking at the stars. She had always believed that space was her future, that honor meant obeying orders, that feelings made you weak. But now, those same stars didn't feel like home anymore. Behind her, she heard footsteps. Jake. He climbed up slowly, holding 2 mugs of hot tea. You always come up here alone, he said, handing her one. Zara took it silently. Eyes still on the sky. Are you waiting for something? He asked. She nodded. A sign, Jake smiled. From your people? No, she whispered. From myself. Inside the cabin, Lyra sat on the floor, flipping through Jake's old books. She wore earth clothes now, jeans and a sweater Jake had given her. She laughed softly at a picture of a dog wearing sunglasses. What is this creature? She asked. Jake chuckled from the roof. That's a beagle. A very serious warrior species. Lyra grinned, but her smile faded as she looked outside. A small blinking device rested on the table. The communication crystal. Earlier that day, it had started flashing again. Their people had made contact, and they weren't angry anymore. They wanted Zara and Lyra to return. Zara finally spoke. They said we can come back. No punishment, if we agree to stay silent. Jake raised an eyebrow. Silent about what? About this place, about you. About what we felt here. Jake looked down. So they want you back. But only if you pretend Earth never happened. Zara nodded. Jake took a sip of tea. And what do you want? She didn't answer. Later the three sat together by the fire again. This time, there was no laughter, no pancakes, no butterfly stories. Only the quiet question burning in the air. Stay or leave? Lyra broke the silence first. I miss our sky. Our towers. The scent of the rain back home. Jake lowered his eyes. But, she continued, I never laughed like this on our planet. I never felt safe. I never knew what love was. Jake looked up slowly. Zara didn't speak. Jake finally asked the hardest question. If they asked you to choose, your world or mine, what would you choose? Zara stood. She walked outside. The night was cold, but not cruel. Zara touched the edge of the shipwreck, still buried in the earth like a scar. So much had changed since that crash. She remembered who she used to be, a warrior, a judge, a tool for her empire. Now, she was something else. Not fully alien, not fully human. Something in between. Lyra joined her quietly. Do you want to go back? Zara asked. I don't know, Lyra said. But I know one thing. What? I'm not the same girl they threw away. And I'm not ready to belong to them again. In the sky, a new light appeared. Another ship. But this one didn't come with guns or threats. It was a message ship. A final offer. Zara stepped back inside the cabin, where Jake waited. She looked him in the eye. Our people want us back. A clean return. No prison. No pain. Jake nodded. That's good, right? Zara walked closer. But there's one condition. Jake's voice was soft. Let me guess. Leave everything behind. Yes, Jake swallowed hard. Even me. Zara didn't answer. Lyra sat beside them, her voice steady. If we stay, we'll always be hunted. Jake smiled gently. If you leave, I'll miss you every day. Zara reached for Jake's hand. And this time she trembled, not from fear, But from feeling, you saved us, she whispered. Not just from death, but from who we were becoming. Jake's voice cracked. Then stay. Silence. 3 hearts, 1 choice. Zara looked toward the window. The ship hovered, waiting. Step outside. And they were gone, but she didn't move. Instead, she turned toward Jake and whispered something no warrior had ever said before. I want to stay, but far above, in the dark of space. Another voice spoke. If they stay, Earth will become a target. And a cold hand pressed a red button. Then we must erase the problem. The morning sky was painted gold. Zara stood barefoot in the grass, holding a cup of tea the way Jake taught her, both hands around it, like she was trying to hold on to warmth itself. But something in the wind felt different today. Too still. Too quiet. Like the air was waiting for something. Jake came outside, still in his flannel shirt, eyes sleepy. Couldn't sleep either? Zara shook her head. The stars feel nervous. Jake raised an eyebrow. I didn't know stars had feelings. They do, she whispered. When war is near. Inside, Lyra was writing in Jake's old notebook. She had filled pages with drawings, flowers, birds, trees, and Jake's face. She smiled, then paused. The window light dimmed. She looked up. A shadow moved across the sky. She ran outside. They're here. Not one ship this time. 3. Black and massive, covering the sun. No warnings. No message. Only silence. Then thunder. Not from the sky. From the ships. Charging weapons. Jake grabbed his bag. Get inside. Zara didn't move. They're not here to scare us. They're here to end us. Lyra's voice shook. They mean to wipe this place out. To erase Earth. Jake stepped beside them. Then we fight. Zara looked at him. Even if it kills you? Jake nodded. Some things are worth dying for. The ships opened fire. Zara and Lyra shot back, their powers burning brighter than ever. Jake rushed toward the old satellite dish they fixed last week. It had become their homemade shield booster. He slammed the button. A faint dome flickered over the cabin, thin but strong enough to stop the first blast. Zara flew up, her boots igniting. She hadn't flown since her exile. Now, she was more than a warrior. She was a protector. She smashed into the nearest ship, tearing through its core. With a scream, it exploded mid-air, scattering flames. Lyra fought below, defending Jake with bursts of blue light. Her hands glowed with energy she never trained for, but her heart knew what to do. She was no longer afraid. She was fighting for her home. But then, one last missile broke through the shield. It raced toward the cabin. Jake saw it coming. He had no weapon left, no shield. No time. So he ran forward. And stood in its path. Jake! Lyra screamed. Time slowed. Zara saw him. Arms wide, choosing to take the blast. And then boom. A blinding flash, smoke, fire, silence. When the smoke cleared, Jake was on the ground. Still breathing. Barely. Zara fell to her knees beside him. His shirt was torn. Blood on his side. You idiot, she whispered, tears in her voice. You could have died. Jake smiled weakly. But you didn't. She touched his face. You're not a soldier. You're not a weapon. Jake blinked up at her. Then what am I? Zara leaned closer. You're mine. The other 2 ships pulled back, defeated not by force, but by something they couldn't understand. A bond. A human. A choice. Later that night, the sky was calm again. Zara and Lyra sat on the porch. Jake resting inside with bandages across his chest. A new signal came from space, but this time it was different. Not a threat, a message. We saw everything. You fought for them, and they fought for you. You are no longer traitors. You are free. Stay or return. The choice is yours. Zara looked at the stars. Then at the cabin. Then at the man who gave her more than safety. He gave her something she never had. a reason to stay. She stood, her voice calm and sure. We already made our choice. Lyra smiled. Together, they walked back into the house, not as exiles, not as fugitives, but as part of something rare, not something powerful, something human. They came to Earth as punishment, but Earth gave them a gift their world never could. Not just love, not just freedom, but a home.